So thank you everyone for joining this webinar with Cold Blue and Campion. Campion team, Casey, thank you so much for putting this together. We're looking forward to sharing some of our information. So we're going to talk a little bit about our Cold Blue Nebula services and our cloud solutions that we offer to our customers, and also ways of connecting to our network. So some of the common design and installation issues our customers are seeing out there when bringing in the emergency communications devices to their locations, it's really maybe the customer does not have a IP PBX. There's no availability for one of those. Lack of expertise on the person doing the install. Could be a cabling and installation charges. You know, maybe your parking lot is already built and you cannot cut through the parking lot to run wiring to it. It becomes too expensive. So end users are going from a regular on-prem PBX to a cloud-based PBX, just like we're talking here on our teams. One thing that we see a lot now is network security concerns. So a lot of companies don't want third-party equipment sitting on their network due to vulnerabilities. And then the last one that's one of the most important to me is the diagnostics capabilities. Most solutions don't have the ability of running diagnostics on the phones, and that's part of what we provide. So you know your phones are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So here's some of the answers to the original roadblocks, right? Our Blue Alert Connect, that is a PBX. It's our PBX. It could sit on the cloud. It can sit on the customer prem, however you prefer. Managed services from Cold Blue, that takes care of the lack of expertise. We do all the work. We help you get all the work done throughout the installs. Cable installation challenges. Maybe it's wired, maybe it's wireless. We can do cellular IP and many other ways that we can provide those services. End users moving to a cloud-based PBX, very simple, provide them with our cloud Nebula services, and we're able to integrate those. Unreliable networks, network configuration and maintenance support. We offer that to our customers at time of install. Network security concerns, we now bypass the customer's network totally. We run outside of their network, cellular IP network, to run the connectivity for them. And then what I mentioned was one of the most important ones that we have is the monitoring, diagnostics, and reporting. Without that, you're never going to know if your units are working properly or not. Cold Blue is the highly versatile emergency management platform, right? You guys are all familiar. Not only versatile, but highly visible also. You know, those units are out there. They're meant to be seen. They're meant to be. How do we provide services to our customers, right? You can always buy the phone, and just like you would back, I'll date myself here, back from Radio Shack, you buy that phone, you plug it in, the phone works. Same principle when it comes to the Cold Blue emergency phones, just a little more complicated. And with the technology improving, we're also improving the technology on our phones. So now we have multiple ways of connecting and multiple pieces of software. Yes, can I buy the phone, plug it right into my Cisco Call Manager? Yes, you can. It worked just fine. It is a SIP phone. It will work just like any SIP phones. But this is more towards the customers that want a little more to their service than just being able to receive or make an emergency phone call. So what do? We offer you a few different ways of connecting and a few different pieces of software to manage those connections. So Blue Alert Connect, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's our phone system. Monitor, it monitors the phones. Motion is our cloud-based VMS. And Overwatch is a bundle solution that includes including paging, gun detection, and other pieces of software that I'll get into here in a minute. And then the way of managing all that is with our portal. Now, keeping in mind the technology changes at a very fast rate of speed, we kept a little part there that just the Blue Alert, and it's open. That's for future applications and development and things that customers may want. A lot of our customers like to use muster stations and put mustering equipment into our units. Yeah, we can do that. We can help you manage that. Maybe we're managing a third-party phone from one of our competitors. They have no way of managing that. We might be able to help you manage. So anything that you see out there that you think would be a positive to bring to us, talk to Campion and then bring it to us, and we might be able to engineer a solution to fulfill your needs. So how is all this software provided to the customers? There's really three different ways that we can do that. Number one, very simple, is a Toolbox appliance. It's an appliance that goes into your network. It's a server. Option number two is the same software that's on that Toolbox server in a VM version. So now you no longer have to manage a second device inside of your network. There's no more rack spaces, no more power consumptions, or somebody to manage and update those appliances. You just receive the software, you install to an existing appliance, and you're running it on your own. And the third one is our cloud services. That's our, we provide you a connection to our cloud services. We use Amazon Web Services, so AWS. It's throughout the country, really throughout the world, super redundant, very scalable. Blue Alert Connect is very simple. It's our PBX solution, right? So it works in lieu of your PBX. It provides you the dial tone, it provides IP and analog phone paths and paging. So you can pick up the phone, dial one of our extensions, and push a message out through a mass notification speaker on top of our units. And those are the things that the PBX solution does, the Blue Alert Connect. It also does time-of-day routing, forward, and there's all the things that you have on your phone system today. You have the ability of using our software to do it, and it's asterisk-based. So, for example, we have customers that use this as a backup to their phone system. So not only we can handle Blue calls, if there's a need, we can handle your PBX needs for inside of your office. I think it's one of the most important pieces of software that Blue offers. So what we do is we provide a system diagnostics for all of our phones and all our connections. We're able to monitor our phones all the way to the button. So we can tell if there's connectivity, if the speakers are working, if the microphones are working, if the buttons are working properly, if the phone is rebooting, if there are problems with the motherboard. So we're looking for all those things 24/7. If we find any errors or any issues with those phones, an email will go out to the people in charge of fixing them. So you'll no longer have to spend the money to have a police officer or an IT person. So not only are you saving the money, and you also know that your phone will be working in between tests. I think that's one of the most important pieces of software that we have. Now, the Blue Alert Motion is a little different. This is more for like the smaller customers that may not have an NVR or a VMS. So what we do is we provide you some cloud storage for your video. Now, this is not for the enterprise customer that has, multiple PTZ 4K cameras. This is really for the smaller guy that needs some help recording and storing their video. So we do the cloud-based recording for that. The Blue Alert portal, the way of keeping track of everything that you have. You log into a portal, you're going to find the status of your phones, you're going to find the status of your equipment. You'll be able to look at your cloud storage video if that's something that you have. You can pull out call logs, you can do spreadsheets on units that are being used the most, not using enough, online, offline status, and a multitude of other things. So this is our Blue Alert portal. For platform options, the Blue Alert applications are delivered by hardware, software, or cloud-hosted services. And it can also be done as a combination of all the above. I touched on that a little bit when I talked about the VM, the actual appliance, and the hosted. So that's what it is. We can also do a combination of all three of them, as many as you need. And this is more of a picture, so it makes it a little easier to understand what we provide per way of delivery. So your Toolbox appliance, it's all the way up there on top, and we'll work with every one of our phones, analog or IP. It provides you with the Blue Alert Connect and monitor. The Toolbox software, this is the VM software, the virtual machine that you will install on your own server. Same deal, works the same way. You own the software. You have the ability to take advantage of the Blue Alert Connect and the Blue Alert Monitor. And then the third one is our cloud services. So it adds a little more to it. You get the Blue Alert Motion. You get the Blue Alert monitor and connect. So you get the motion there as an add-on because now you can use our cloud storage. So this is just an intersection of how our software works with all of our delivery methods. So Nebula, right? That is our cloud-based solution. We call it the Nebula solution. And what you're going to see here, we're going to touch base a little bit. It's everything that is part of the Nebula cloud ecosystem. And you're going to see some drones and robots and things like that. No, we don't sell them, but we can totally integrate with those type of devices. So it's an all-in-one ability to manage your emergency phone network and any other peripherals that may be attached to it. So we can customize, we can design, we can strengthen your security SOPs, we can enhance customer service for our customers, and by managing it all in our cloud platforms. So anywhere or anything from elevator phone lines to audio paging and mass notification to your cameras and integrating with the cameras. We mentioned robots and artificial intelligence like drones. We can launch them to a preset location, area of refuge, and many other services that you may use today, like locking a door, unlocking a door, open a gate, closing a gate. There's multiple ways for us to manage that for you or help you manage that. So here's the features and benefits of our Nebula cloud services, right? Scalability. That's always a really important part. I'll buy one today, I'm going to buy 100 tomorrow, and I'm going to increase it to 500 next week. Not a problem. Just let us know what you need, how many you need. We'll program and we'll ship them out to you, and it'll all work the same. It will be preset to go from day one. Simplified management, yes. We offer a hands-on as much as you want platform or hands-off as much as you don't want us. We give you all the tools to manage your equipment yourself, or if need be, to have us manage it for you. Now, we're not answering your calls. We're not going to take that emergency call, but we're going to make sure that the phones are ringing to the proper place, the phones are working 24/7, and many things like that. With our cloud services, we're able to pass through all your 911. We're able to pass through your E911 and any other identification, including caller ID, that you need for every one of the units. So it's very simple to identify exactly where your phone tower or your wall mount is for when the first responders or even your own security teams, your college, university, or whatever it may be, have to deploy to. So that brings us out to the last piece, which is a rapid deployment, not only of being able to send the police out to it, but a rapid deployment of our equipment when installing. So they come pre-configured and ready to go. Some more of the features and benefits. When we mention location independency, it means that we can provide caller ID with each and every one of our units. So even though they may be connected to the same cloud services, each and every unit is going to be its own entity, and you'll be able to know exactly where those calls are coming from. Flexible call routing, exactly it. You can send that call to as many phones as you need. You can pre-program as many telephones as you need. You can do time of day routing. You can do ring no answer, busy signals. So you could have a whole set of first call goes to the security help desk. If they don't answer, it goes to this person, all the way to the actual guard's cell phone, if that's something that you decide to do. Also very important is by using our Nebula solution with our cloud services, you are really reducing your upfront costs of installation. Here's what our managed services look like, right? You see here a CoBlue CB1W, which is our tower with a solar panel, and a cellular, which is really a 4G or 5G internet connection. So from that point on, from the time you press the button to the time that somebody answers that phone, everything is done via our cloud services. We can do recording. We can do multi-loads on the cellular data plans where you have a primary and a backup, and I'm going to get into that here in 1 second. And even your video communications, if you have a camera on your phone, once you activate that button, it will start recording the video information. Connectivity options, right? This is really important. I think we talked a little bit about there are multiple ways and methods to connect and deploy our phones. And I'm going to go through a few of them here. So hardwire, right? That's your fiber connection. That is your category cable, even your POTS lines, if that's how you decide to connect. Secondary is a cellular IP. That's your 4G, 5G connection. That's for the applications that you don't have the ability of bringing those hard connections to it. A third way is with a Wi-Fi or a mesh type of service. What does that mean? It could be a point-to-point, a point-to-multi-point. It could be a dedicated Wi-Fi connection. It could be multiple ways of connecting those phones. The fourth way, which is very commonly used right now, is a combination of it. So you might have a primary come in via powered fiber or whatever, however you want to provide the service, fiber category cable, and you have one of our cellular routers as a backup for those units. So if there's some construction being done, somebody cuts that cable, guess what? You're working immediately through a cellular connection. Now, the really nice part is our routers are able to do that load balancing. And if there's a cut, they'll switch over to the cellular network, and you're not even going to know that there was a cut on that fiber. So our connection options for our Nebula, we talked about your fibers or your hard connection. Those are easy. We're all very familiar with it. I'm going to get a little more into the wireless connections or the wireless connectivity. So you got your 4G, 5G connection. Those are using your carriers like Verizon, AT&T, Sprint, whatever other carriers you choose. And by the way, that's not just here in the US. We have connections like this throughout the country. Throughout the world, and we have different carriers throughout the world that we use. We also provide the ability of the customer to provide their own SIM card and data plan if they have a relationship with the existing carriers. So we give you 2 slots for SIM cards on your router. Slot number 1 goes to carrier 1, slot number 2 goes to carrier number 2. They're balancing between the two. If one goes down, the other one picks up the call. Same thing, we give you ability to plug in your wire network or your wireless network. By wireless, I mean your Wi-Fi mesh style networks. So what are the benefits of all this? Number 1, you eliminate your cabling costs and your cabling needs. I understand a lot of the people that are going to be watching this webinar are integrators, and they're out there selling cabling and things like that, and we respect that. But understand, there are places that are really unfeasible to bring the cabling to, maybe due to distance or cost. So we provide you with a third solution to fulfill your customers' needs. We provide your IP connections and supervision compatible with multiple platforms, has failover and redundance. So all those 4 pieces I've addressed coming to this point. What we have here is a cellular failover solution, and I talked a little bit about it. So you have our phones, they're IP phones going into a network. You have a VPN router number 1, VPN router number 2. You can also choose to connect them via a hardwired cable all the way to our Nebula solution or to our cloud services, and then it terminates as a phone call to your dispatch, 911, or whomever is in charge of answering those calls. As you can see, we have a cellular solution, wired solution backed by a cellular solution. Cloud routing options, it all depends on how you want to route and design them. We spoke in the beginning of this webinar that all 3 of our solutions can be combined in any way you see fit. So if you want to have a hardware component to it sitting on your phone closet, that's fine. And the backup going through our cloud services, that's perfect. That way, not only you have the backup on your software, you also have backup on your call paths. And I know those designs get a little confusing, but once you really look at them, it's a lot easier to understand. Call routing, backup, dispatch. So you have dispatch number 1, 2, and 3. So phone rings to the first one, no one answers, goes to the second and third, or a combination of hitting all phone numbers at the same time. This is more of a after the installation fact, when the customer will decide how they want to answer those calls and where they want the calls to ring to. So some of the common applications that we have there at Nebula are able to provide some endless solution that we have. So if you look at, you have IP to analog solutions. You can take either your IP phones and turn them into an analog phone if that's what you choose to do, or vice versa. Take your analog phone and run through a IP network. So we offer you any type of way you want to deploy those services that you need. So from your handoff to using existing cables and going away from POTS lines, and we can have a solution and offer a solution to you. So we've noticed that the emergency phones or the emergency communications field is changing a little bit. And there are some new terms that having to deal with. One of them is an elevator connect. So most elevators have an analog line coming in from the public switch telephone network. Those are getting extremely expensive, and most carriers are going away with that service. They're trying to bring everything into an IP connection. So what do? We're able to come in and replace those lines with one of our VPN routers and mimic that phone line going into your elevator. Also, keep in mind, by using our services like this, you're future-proofing for the next step. The next steps now, new locations must have video inside of the elevator, so a screen that you can see the first responder and vice versa as you're talking to them. So by going into an IP solution the way we provide, you already have the connectivity once those things get mandated to be retrofitted into existing elevators. So all you have to do is change that base model phone to a phone with a video. So area of refuge has started being mandated in all of our jurisdictions throughout the country, in pretty much any building that's over 3 stories high. You're going to see the phones being placed by elevator lobbies, by some of the restrooms. It all depends on the design of the location. And you must have a phone where a firefighter or a first responder can pick up the phone and communicate with any one of the emergency phones throughout your building. The problem with that is, depending on where you are, and this goes county by county in the United States, there are different mandates, from 2-hour burn rated cabling, where your cable must last 2 hours of a fire, to different ways of connecting and monitoring and all that. So we figured out a way of bypassing this, and our equipment is normally approved to be deployed. We can do it via our cloud services, and the neat part is we can connect multiple buildings in multiple locations to one centralized place, either on our cloud or with one of our softwares on-prem. It all depends on how your customer needs deployed. So this is an example of a AOR, area of refuge, using our cloud services. So as you can see, it works just like the regular ones, but instead of using the cabling and everything else, you're connecting via our Nebula, our 4G LTE services. So a lot of customers want to stick with analog. We can provide the same services using analog phones and in an analog system. This is an analog speakerphone using our cloud services. So same idea, just showing you different ways of connecting depending on your customer needs. So we're taking that analog services, turning into an IP call, putting it through our Nebula cloud, and then terminating at the master station at the main lobby. Last piece that we're going to touch a little bit on is our premium solar towers. This is a CB1 with a solar panel and a mass notification audio paging set of speakers. What this solution does, it gives you the ability of hitting that hard to hit locations that your customers may have. Maybe they have a jogging trail, maybe they have an overflow parking lot that has no power to it. Now it doesn't matter, right? We'll go out there, we'll drop those units. As soon as you plug the solar panel into it, the units are working, they're pre-programmed. Not only you can make emergency phone calls from that unit, you can also push notification from the main office out to those units using our audio paging. Those speakers are very intelligible. They work on they have a very long radius because they're on a 360 shape, so the sound disperses throughout the parking lot, making it very easy for somebody to understand the message being pushed out. I would say one of the most useful things for those phones is deterrence. Once you see a phone in the parking lot, crime is reduced to close to nothing because they know they're being monitored and they assume that there's probably a camera monitoring them 24/7. In Texas, this is not a major issue. So we provide services all over the world. And so a couple of years back, we upgraded the way we deliver our services, not only with our batteries, but the size of our solar panels to make sure that the customer in Michigan has the same success as a customer in Texas where you have sun all day, every day. So we've had some of those units installed in our parking lot. We're based right outside of Lake Michigan, so it snows a lot, it's cold, and it's always overcast, and we have not had one power interruption to our phones since we installed. One thing I didn't mention in the beginning, everything that we make is made in the USA. Everything that we sell it carries the Pure Michigan, which means a certain percentage of it is made in Michigan. So we're part of Buy America Act. Keep that in mind. We also meet all ADA compliances. It was unfair to just provide wireless and solar panels to our regular towers. So we have a kit that you can purchase and provide the same services to your wall-mounted units. Because they're smaller, there's no way to put the batteries inside of them. So we create a Nemo box with a solar panel as a power solution to provide power to those units. And they'll work the same as the tower. So we talked about the product. I'm going to show you guys some of the common parking designs that we see out there and what we do to solve those needs. So for example, this one has multiple units per floor. They're all connecting to one cellular connection per floor as a backup, with the primary being a hard connection out of that location. So same thing here with our parking designs for your open park decks. You can choose where you want to put them. They'll all communicate the same way, and there are multiple ways to install them. Bridges and tunnels. We've really took us a while to come up with a solution for bridges and tunnels due to the noise and due to, just where they're located. So a few years back, we came up with a handset phone. It's exactly what it is. It's a NEMA box with a handset phone and a cellular communicator inside of it. So once you pick up the phone and talk, is the same as just pressing the button on one of our phones. Now, those are being used throughout airports for communications with the tarmacs, airports and other mass transit for, see something, say something type of application. You don't want to yell that, there's a suspect person standing at the platform. You want to be able to have a private conversation. Anything that encompasses emergency communications, you can find a solution for. If you have any questions, feel free to contact Campion or contact me directly. We're here to help you.